What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Hamzah Sheeraz'S, Edgar Berlanga. Get this. Edgar Berlanga's wife has posted several images on social media insisting that Hamzah Sheeraz'S was in fact cheating based on the warpness of his raps, okay? She had two images of how one looked a certain way, it was kind of puffy, swollen, and then the other one looked more defined, which were on two different occasions. And she also pointed out the fact that Hamzah Sheeraz'S just broke his hand. And indeed, she specified it was his left hand. And because of that, he is now, or she is now, skeptical of his knockout of her husband, Edgar Berlanga. Now let's come back over here, dude. It got weird. Huh. You know, these devices, hold on a second. Man, that looks a lot better. Okay, so my counterpunch on this is, do you guys see the images? I've posted them and I've looked at them. I don't know what fights those were, for one. For two, if someone did have a hand injury, it does take a long time for those to heal, you know, just to put everything on the table. And he knocked out Edgar Berlanga, but he also make a point where she makes a point where he went 12 rounds with Canelo, and Canelo was able to drop Berlanga, and he was able to get up from that particular punch. But then Hamzah Sheeraz'S, that's not known to be knocking people out, or knocking people out on top of a injury that he mysteriously overcame, and was able to take Berlanga out. Let me get a chair. Do apologize. I still have very little furniture in my new place. So, for one, okay, there are some speculation. And I know things happened and it was quick. I mean, he got beat quick. It went 5 rounds. And Berlanga was able to take some shots. Berlanga did throw a land of 1-2. And then after that, I mean, when Sheeraz'S opened up on him, it was pretty much all she wrote. Because it was honestly over in 4 rounds, not 5. The 5th round, Berlanga's eyes wasn't where they supposed to be. I mean, they could have stopped it in the corner, but, you know, hey, shout out to Berlanga for at least going out on his shield. You know what I mean? Let them stop it. Don't quit. So at least we can say that about Berlanga. But I'll say this. If they had any doubt, or if she had any doubt, I think that this should be looked upon or blamed by Berlanga's team. Okay, nothing changes when it comes to conspiracies or doubt or speculation. Nothing changes. You know, why are we having these conversations? Why is it, oh, well, you know what? They were cheating and he had one glove off, because that was one of the main things. Hamzah had one glove off and one glove on, meaning the one glove that was still on was the glove that they were trying to hide so they can take off later without any, any speculation, and seeing, hey, what you got in that glove. Okay, so that was that. All right, and you gotta blame the team. You gotta blame the team of Berlanga because they were there when they wrapped the gloves. And see, here's the problem. Boxing is the sport that I hate so much, and people understand that follow this channel why I say this. I say this because the overall intent of boxing is to make money. And because of that, it's corrupted. That's why I love it, but then I hate it because the sport is brutal. The sport is very raw and very unpredictable. But it's very corrupted too. That actually makes it predictable. You know what I mean? And if those guys felt that maybe the athletic commission, the New York State Athletic Commission was in on it or turned a blind eye to it, that's the sole reason you have a person from your camp watch that guy rap his raps. Do you guys remember Richardson, okay? Coach Richardson and the corner of Shane Mosley back in 2009, okay? This was a while back. But Coach Richardson seen that something was funny about Antonio Margarito's raps. Something seen that, hey, something's funny about this shit. Rewrap them, open it up. I need to see something. And that is where the truth fell out of that man's gloves. It was a plaster that over time it swells, giving more punching power to Antonio Margarito. And before that, we've seen Antonio Margarito beat Miguel Cotto into submission, rip his face to shreds. Miguel Cotto's face looked horrible. Okay. But that night we found out why. So that's the reason why you should have, or your team should have, a very eagle eye like perception and optic on that man's gloves, especially when rapping them, when the whole thing. And if they had any truth to this, if there were any concrete truth to this, they would have found out. This would have been a totally different issue. That fight wouldn't have been a victory at all. It would have been a big scandal. In fact, the fight probably wouldn't even happen. Hopefully it would have happened to see what type of reflection you would have had, but that's a what if, and a what if. See, you need to realize that overall, people are responsible for the people that are on their team. If Edgar Berlanga's team was not confident enough in their own job and their own ability to see something that's right or see something that's not right, we shouldn't be having this conversation at all. Now, keep in mind, this is Genesis, the wife of Edgar Berlanga. Hell, for all we know, Edgar Berlanga could be, snatching her account and using her account to put something that he feels out because he got his ass whooped so bad. But keep in mind, Edgar Berlanga, you wouldn't be looked at and talked about as bad as you were if you wouldn't have talked the shit that you talked. You think Sean Porter, a guy like that, and he took a loss like he took to like Terrence Crawford, where he was actually stopped as well? Do you think he's looked and frowned upon and trolled like you? No, because Sean Porter has something that you don't have. He has respect for his fighters. He didn't talk all that trash, and he didn't say what he was going to do. He didn't say nigga in every sentence that he made. You did. So guess what? You have to live with it. So maybe this is a patch up, maybe something that he needs, just like I felt Wilder needed it. Wilder needed some type of scandal because he got his ass whooped that badly because there was no explanation for it. And I think the same is for this. Now, I will do this because this has been a new thing that has happened since. This is Wednesday, 3 days after that fight. And Andy Lee had this to say. He said, quote, he said, "Incorrect. I am Hamzah's coach. I wrapped his hands. The commission wouldn't allow me to cut the second wrap off after the fight. Both the commission and Berlanga's coach watched me wrap Hamzah's hands and inspected all gashes and tape used." Those are the words of Andy Lee. And my counterpunch to that is, that's everything you have to know. If they saw it, if Edgar Berlanga, coach, if he saw it and he's okay with it, we shouldn't be having this conversation. It's just, see, these things like this, and it's always, and it makes us look bad as Americans over here, because when we get beat, it's always something that has nothing to do with the ability of the guy that beat your ass. It's always some other outsourced shit that you can't prove. See, we need to put this shit to bed. If there's any truth to it, we need to put it to bed. If there's any truth to what Edgar Berlanga's wife is saying, we need to find a way to put it to bed. If there's no way to put it to bed, if there's no way to do investigation, shut the fuck up. Please, pretty please, shut up. Because it's making us look soft. It's making us look soft as American people. See, you get your ass whooped, own it, eat it, shit it out, and fight another day. Not this. Oh man, something's wrong with that man raps you. I don't care what you say, yo. That's, You know what I mean? And it's just not him and Wilder. You got Thurman, Thurman went through the same shit. Oh no, man, Manny Pacquiao's hands felt like bricks. He was insinuating that it was something in the gloves. That's what was happening. And that was even before Glovegate, honestly. But I'm tired of every time we as Americans get beat, these fighters over here get beat, it's always an excuse. We can't hold ourselves accountable for just taking an ass whooping. This is boxing. This is going to happen from time to time. You look at the losses Berlanga has had versus his wins. He has a decent record. He's only lost twice, to Canelo and Hamzah Sheeraz'S. And Canelo is an all-time great, a legend in his own right, a living, fighting legend in his own right. And Hamzah Sheeraz'S is an undefeated British fighter. So I wouldn't really be too bad on yourself. Now, you get your ass whooped by Jake Paul, that's a totally different issue. But this here, no, it is what it is. So please, people, let's stop. Tell me what you think. Please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch.